Smooth Moves, brought to you by Jamison Whiskey.
The Swans are back on the weekend, Chief, and I'll tell you what, when this man hits top gear, it is exciting. He almost came from the fifth row for this one. He read it beautifully, the lizard, and moving. Watch him just a little 9-iron over the top here. And that is our smooth-moving Jamison moment from the weekend. Not sure if I even got that move right, but that's the lizard at his absolute best. It's Coach's Night. Great to have Brad Scott in the studio. Bradley, welcome.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks, Jason.
And Dean Cox joins us from the Swans. Go, Coxie. Well done on the weekend.
Nice, thanks for having me.
I don't want to start on a low note, but Brad, I know you're sitting there thinking this is not going to be an injury chat, but we've just got to get through a couple. Coxie, can you fill us in on Tommy Papley? He went off with that hamstring, didn't look great.
No, it didn't, and unfortunately he's got a low-grade hamstring strain, so he'll miss 2 to 3 weeks. Just as he was getting back and trying to play some really good footy, he's out of the team again, unfortunately.
And Joel Amati also, who's missed a bit of footy, didn't look great either.
No, in the last 50 seconds, he injured his adductor, so he'll miss 8 to 12 weeks, which probably rules out the season for him, unfortunately. And, you know, he's had a very interrupted season and showed what he can do when he's playing. And under a minute to go, it's, you get the result that we do, which is devastating for him and the footy club.
Terrible news. We want to see all the good players out there, but that's your side of the coin. What about your side of the coin? You've had a few more bowl over and some surgeries that need to be undertaken.
Yeah, very disappointing. I mean, Zach Reid had surgery today, and like most surgery, it's successful to this point. But,
so what was the nature of the surgery?
Yeah, it's a hard one to explain to a lay person like me.
Because he was about to come back from hamstring, wasn't he?
He came back. He had a very minor hamstring strain, but it's the location of the strain that we feel the best course of action is to surgically repair that, and it's got the best chance of returning without recurrence. So that it's hard to explain. It's a minor hamstring that requires surgery, but it's not torn off the bone or anything like that. But it's obviously devastating for him. He's worked really hard to get back, and Jai Caldwell, Cinders Moses, he again, very late in the game, but he'll have surgery tomorrow to repair that ankle. So, yeah, the hits keep on coming.
Well, we're looking at that injury list, and I know you don't want to look at it, and Coxie's shaking his head there, but it's just almost beyond a joke. And you've also had the situation, I think it was today, where Nick Cox is, from a concussion point of view, good news is that the career not over, but season for now. Yeah,
look, I think... Look, even if they'd said, look, there's a chance of coming back this year, we would have been extremely conservative. We're concerned about Coxie's long-term football career, and now it just puts it to bed a little bit this year that he can just focus on his recovery. And but great news that he's of the mindset that he can't wait to get back and play footy, and he knows that's going to be next year, and now he can lock into the pre-season and just make sure his health's right.
So how do you deal with these frustrations as a coach? Because all you can do is basically take the advice of the medical people and say, he's right, he's not right, but you've got people falling over and you sit there, you're going, well, I'm playing half a side this week. How do you keep your own sanity?
Well, I mean, it's like everything in life. I mean, you've got a choice how you respond to whatever situation you're in. And, the choices you have is you can mope and poor us and poor me and my job's too hard, or you can get on with the job and look at the positives. And the positives for us are that Lamont the Whale comes in and wouldn't have got an opportunity in our team 3 months ago. Angus Clark comes in, Zach Johnson comes in. All the players that have had opportunity wouldn't have had that opportunity without these injuries. And we genuinely think we've found some players that are going to improve our team short, medium, long term. So, the aim is to keep putting a team on the park every weekend that's capable of getting the job done. And we haven't shied away from that. There are no excuses for performance on the weekend because of who's not there.
Yep.
We're still fielding 23 fit players.
Did you nearly lose another before the game started on the weekend? A really interesting discussion between the box and Xavier Dersma.
Before the bounce, yeah?
Well, I mean, if you could split... you can split screen. You have got it. I mean, I'm looking up at the clock there as it ticks down below, or closer than a minute to game time. Xavier felt some low back discomfort in the warm-up on a ground ball. You can understand we're a bit jittery at the moment around that, but it was a question. The medical staff were convinced that it was low risk, but for me it was function. And when the medical staff cleared him, I just wanted to really put the hard word on Xavier and say there's a no risk approach here. If you declare yourself fit, you've got to get out and compete. You can't say I'm a bit sore and play accordingly.
He had one the first 30 seconds at his toes.
Yeah, always going to happen. And that was the commentary in the box too. Well, let's test it out.
Coxie, well done on the weekend. What a terrific result. Great game of footy. Fremantle kept coming back. You become a much better coach when your better players are back playing.
Yeah, you do, Gaz. It's great to have those players back. They spent a fair bit of time out at the start of the year, and to be able to try and implement a brand of football we want to play, you want to do it with your best players there. We learnt as much as we possibly could through the first half of the year with those players not playing, and having them back in really settles the ship. The connection they have with a lot of the players they played footy with certainly makes it easier, and the results come from that.
I think Dermot may have made the point during the game, Errol Goulden, we're not there obviously, and we looked at this last year. We had some audio, we had you guys mic'd up, and Errol was one of those players, and his instruction was, it's like nothing I'd heard of in footy for a 21 or 22-year-old man. So can you talk to us about his role as a connector? I think the vision that we had was with Brodie Grundy, talking to him really intimately during the game. It was fascinating.
Yeah, it is. And I think the silver lining for Errol was when he got injured, it was the opportunity for him to sit on the bench and to actually coach and help obviously understand the state of game and what's required, how we deliver messages to players. When you're caught up in the moment and getting off to get a break for 3 minutes, you can't actually really assess what's happening. So he's really curious. He wants to always find out what's happening in the game. How can we maximise when we're going well? What do we need to change when the opposition's really testing us? So, to have someone like that, certainly at that age, he spends a lot of time off the field throughout the week, analysing what he needs to do, but also what his teammates need to do. And he's really clear on his role, clear on his teammates' role, so he can execute that game day.
Can be dangerous, letting players know too much about the way things go, Coxie, let me tell you. Do you guys talk about salvaging something out of the season? I mean, you look at the draw, you've got some really winnable games. I know there's a couple of big ones coming up. You've got Brisbane away, Geelong at home. But do you sit there and say, hey, we can actually salvage something? If we get on a roll here, finals aren't out of the question.
I think the way we're looking at it, we just want to try and improve every week, try and play the brand that we want to do going forward. With the personnel that we have, whoever's in the team, we want to make sure that we're building consistency with the way we defend, the way we want to attack as a team, and our contest method. So that hasn't changed. We can't look too far ahead. We've just got to look right in front of us, and that's tomorrow's training session. That's St Kilda this Sunday before we look ahead from there. So we just want to play as well as we possibly can for as long as we possibly can, and whatever happens from there happens.